It started as an innocent headline, one that barely turned heads in the corporate world. $180,000 pay discrepancy exposed, Musk Doge face pressure to act on Crockett. But what no one expected was the storm it would stir. What was meant to be a routine financial audit suddenly became the most controversial issue of the year. I had been working for weeks as part of a financial review team. Crockett, a rising star in the tech world, had long been a symbol of innovation. But his pay package had remained a closely guarded secret, until now. The discovery was both shocking and infuriating. $180,000 paid under mysterious circumstances that no one could explain, not even Crockett himself. The moment the news broke, the internet exploded. The meme world had its say with dogged fervor, but the real chaos began when Elon Musk and the Doge Cryptocurrency Foundation got involved. Musk, never one to shy away from controversy, made an urgent statement from his Twitter account, promising a swift decision. As Doge's influence loomed large, it became clear that the fallout from this scandal was far from over. The pressure was mounting fast, and Musk wasn't one to let a storm pass without stepping in. Just hours after the initial leak, he tweeted, "We'll fix this. Don't panic. The solution is coming soon." For someone used to commanding entire industries with a few words, this was an understatement. His followers, mostly investors, speculators, and Doge fanatics, took it as a promise: the issue would be dealt with swiftly and decisively. Behind closed doors, the tension was palpable. Musk, Crockett, and a handful of financial advisors gathered on an emergency call. The conversation was tense. Crockett, who had always been a master of controlling the narrative, seemed nervous. His usual confident tone was nowhere to be found. It was as if he realized the game had changed. Musk's voice broke through the silence. "We need a decision, and we need it now," Musk's words rang with authority. "This isn't just about one man's pay package. It's about trust, transparency, and whether or not Doge can survive this. We're in this together now." The gravity of the moment wasn't lost on anyone. For Musk, this wasn't just about righting a financial wrong. It was a battle for his reputation and the future of Doge. He had to decide whether to bail Crockett out or let him face the consequences alone. The room fell silent. The decision, it seemed, could change everything. As the clock ticked, the situation grew more dire. Musk's decision wasn't just about addressing the $180,000 discrepancy. It was about a much larger issue that was quietly brewing beneath the surface: the future of Dogecoin. Musk had turned the once unknown cryptocurrency into a global phenomenon, but could his involvement with it continue to withstand the weight of scandals like this one? In the middle of this crisis, Crockett wasn't just dealing with the financial fallout, he was feeling the heat from every angle. His name was tied to the tech industry's brightest stars, but now it was also associated with a potential financial mess. The question was, would Dogecoin continue to thrive, or would it collapse under the pressure? The internal call that followed Musk's Twitter statement felt like a ticking bomb. "Let's be real," a voice from the Doge team spoke up, breaking the tension. "This isn't just about Crockett's pay. If we don't handle this right, the entire Dogecoin empire could be shaken." Musk remained calm, but his mind was working at 1,000 miles per minute. His next move would be crucial. He'd taken risks before, but this was bigger. Much bigger. The possibility of a public meltdown over a pay controversy, especially one tied to a person as influential as Crockett, could push Doge into uncertain territory. Musk's finger hovered over the keyboard for a moment. Then, as if deciding on a plan of action, he sent a direct message to Crockett, outlining his course of action: "This can either be a learning moment or the moment we all fail. Fix this. Fast." But Crockett was a wild card. No one knew whether he would take the chance Musk was offering or if he would let the chaos spiral out of control. As Musk issued his ultimatum to Crockett, the world watched in suspense. The stakes were impossibly high. This wasn't just a corporate scandal, it was a battle for public trust and a test of how far the influence of Dogecoin could stretch. Within hours, the repercussions started to unfold in the most unexpected ways. Media outlets were already running with the story, each headline more sensational than the last. Musk's Doge crisis, is the empire crumbling? Read 1. Another screamed, Crockett's $180,000 controversy, the hidden price of Dogecoin's success. The story had taken on a life of its own. Every move Musk made would be scrutinized, and every word from Crockett would be dissected. As the clock ticked down, Crockett made his first public statement. Standing at a podium, surrounded by reporters, he looked more like a deer caught in headlights than the tech mogul he once was. His voice trembled slightly as he spoke, "I've made mistakes, but I will correct them. This won't define me." But the words felt hollow. The damage was done. Public trust was shattered. The audience, both online and in the room, waited for Musk's next move. They needed to know if the tech billionaire was truly in control of this disaster, or if he, too, would become just another casualty of the scandal. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, the Doge team worked furiously to mitigate the fallout. They pushed out damage control statements, updated financial disclosures, and even hinted at potential restructuring. But none of it seemed to make a difference. The longer Musk remained silent, the more the whispers grew louder. Could this be the end of Dogecoin's reign? It became clear that a decision had to be made, and it had to be made fast. Musk was about to take the helm in a way that would either save or completely destroy everything they had worked for. The pressure reached its breaking point when the financial markets opened the next morning. Dogecoin's value, which had been riding a high wave of success, began to plummet. Investors, unsure of the stability of the cryptocurrency and the future of its backers, started pulling out in droves. The crisis was no longer just about Crockett's pay, now it was about the survival of Dogecoin itself. Musk couldn't afford to wait any longer. He knew the time for hesitation was over. He called for an emergency press conference, one that would either end the controversy or make it even worse. As he walked into the room, the weight of the world seemed to settle on his shoulders. His usual calm demeanor was replaced by an air of urgency. The room went silent as he took the podium. Musk wasted no time with pleasantries. "We're not here to talk about the past," Musk began, his voice steady but commanding. "We're here to fix what was broken." He took a deep breath before continuing. "Crockett's salary discrepancies are an issue that need to be addressed, but let me be clear, this is not the end of Dogecoin. I will personally ensure that every investor, every supporter, and every person affected by this scandal is made whole. It's time to rebuild trust." The crowd sat in stunned silence. This was more than just an apology, it was a declaration of war against the scandal that had threatened to sink them. Musk didn't mince words as he laid out a plan to restore Dogecoin's value. There would be changes in leadership, increased transparency, and, most importantly, a new, decentralized approach to governance. But the most shocking revelation came next. "Crockett will be stepping down from his position immediately," Musk announced, his eyes scanning the room. "We've made the decision together. This is what's best for the company." The decision was bold, but it was what Musk had to do to survive the fallout. He was making it clear that no one, not even his closest allies, was beyond accountability. Yet, even as Musk declared this new era of Dogecoin, a question lingered in the air: would the world believe him, or was it too late to salvage the empire? The announcement hit the airwaves like a shockwave. Musk's swift action in removing Crockett from his position sent a clear message: Dogecoin was no longer going to be tethered to one individual. It was a company built on the support of its community, and Musk was determined to make that clear. But while his decisiveness restored some faith in the leadership, it didn't erase the damage that had already been done. The following weeks were a blur of meetings, media appearances, and endless damage control. Musk, typically a master of managing chaos, seemed more strained than usual. The press conferences, while necessary, became less about the cryptocurrency and more about the personal toll the scandal had taken on him. "Dogecoin isn't just a business, it's a symbol," Musk said in one of his interviews, his usual spark dimmed by the pressure. And sometimes, the only way to move forward is to make difficult decisions, even if they hurt. Despite the public outcry, Musk's strategic move began to show results. Dogecoin, after dipping dangerously low, started to stabilize. Investors began to trickle back in, buoyed by Musk's transparency and the promise of a new direction. Yet the damage to the company's reputation was far from healed. There were still those who questioned whether Dogecoin could survive without its controversial yet charismatic founder, or if the incident was a sign of deeper issues lurking beneath the surface. But Musk wasn't finished. He had one final card to play, a bold move that would either redeem Dogecoin or seal its fate once and for all. In a private meeting with the Doge team, Musk laid out his next steps: we need to reinvent ourselves. From the ground up. Let's be transparent, let's be disruptive in the right ways. I'm not backing down. The future of Dogecoin, and perhaps Musk's own legacy, rested on this final gamble. Would his vision of a decentralized, community-driven Dogecoin be enough to restore its status? Or would the pay scandal be the beginning of the end? Musk's gamble came sooner than expected. As the months passed, the pressure to restore Dogecoin's image became unbearable. Musk had overseen a restructuring of the company, incorporating a new, decentralized system of governance. The idea was to make Dogecoin more about the community and less about any single individual, including Musk himself. But the true test was yet to come, a global event that would be the ultimate test of whether Dogecoin could recover its position. Musk announced that he would host a worldwide Dogecoin event, the Doge Revolution, live-streamed to millions of viewers across the globe. The event would feature groundbreaking announcements, innovative updates, and a series of new partnerships. But the real draw wasn't just the corporate updates, it was the spectacle Musk promised. For the first time since the scandal, Musk would take the stage himself, without his usual entourage of tech experts and PR specialists. It would be just him and the world, ready to either embrace or abandon Dogecoin once and for all. The day of the event arrived, and the pressure was palpable. Behind the scenes, Musk was a whirlwind of activity, overseeing last-minute changes and finalizing the event's details. But inside, he knew that this would either solidify his place as the greatest tech entrepreneur of his generation or push him into irrelevance. The stakes were high, and there was no turning back now. As the live stream began, the first thing viewers saw was a massive, futuristic stage. Neon lights flashed, music pulsed through the speakers, and a giant Dogecoin logo hovered above the crowd. The energy was electric, but beneath it, there was still an undercurrent of uncertainty. Then Musk appeared, stepping out onto the stage alone. His expression was calm, though anyone who knew him could see the tension behind his eyes. The crowd erupted in applause, but it was muted, hesitant. They didn't know what to expect. He stood for a moment, taking in the atmosphere, before speaking. "Welcome to the Dogecoin revolution," he said, his voice steady but with a hint of something unspoken. "Today, we don't just move forward as a cryptocurrency. We move forward as a community. Together, we rebuild." With those words, the crowd leaned in, their attention locked on Musk. He knew that this moment would define the future of Dogecoin. What he said next would either ignite the passion of millions or send them searching for the next big thing. The world watched in silence as Musk paused, taking in the sea of faces both in the audience and across screens worldwide. For a moment, it felt like time stood still. Every word from him would either fuel the resurgence of Dogecoin or ignite a firestorm that would consume everything he had built. Musk cleared his throat and continued, "We're not just talking about a currency here. We're talking about an idea. An idea that no one person owns, that no single individual controls. Dogecoin is about breaking barriers, pushing the limits of what's possible. And we've been through a hell of a lot to get here." He paused, his gaze sweeping the crowd. "The past few months haven't been easy for any of us. But we've come through it stronger, wiser, and more committed than ever before. And that's why today, we're going to announce something that will reshape the future of this community, something that will put us back on track." With a swipe of his hand, the massive screens behind him flickered to life. The words Doge 2.0 flashed in bold letters across the screen. "We're launching Dogecoin 2.0, Musk said, his voice rising with excitement. "This isn't just an update, this is a transformation. The Dogecoin you knew is evolving. It's going to be faster, more secure, and more decentralized than ever before. And to celebrate this new era, we're opening up Dogecoin's code, completely open source, accessible to everyone." The crowd erupted into applause, but this time, it was different. There was no hesitation, no skepticism. People believed in what Musk was saying. Dogecoin was no longer just a meme or a currency, it was a movement, a symbol of revolution. Musk wasn't done yet. And that's not all. "I've heard the concerns, I've seen the doubts. But I promise you, we are committed to making things right. From this point on, transparency will be our cornerstone. Every financial transaction, every change, every decision will be open for all to see." As the event went on, Musk introduced several groundbreaking partnerships with major corporations, tech firms, and even non-profit organizations. Dogecoin was no longer just a cryptocurrency, it was a force, a catalyst for change in the digital economy. The world watched as the values of Dogecoin began to climb again, surpassing even the highest expectations. Investors returned, not just because of Musk's words, but because they saw the genuine shift in the way Dogecoin was being handled. It was no longer about one person's vision, it was about a shared future, a future in which the community itself held the reins. As the event came to a close, Musk smiled slightly. The storm had passed. The $180,000 pay scandal, the fallout, the whispers of ruin, it was all behind him now. The world hadn't just forgiven him, it had embraced him once again. Dogecoin had been given a new lease on life. Whether it would remain the symbol of innovation or fall into the shadows of forgotten currencies remained to be seen. But for now, one thing was certain, the revolution had begun. And this time, it was not just about cryptocurrency. It was about trust, redemption, and the power of the people.